Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to make these adorable keepsake ornaments using the new Fairy Tale Christmas kit, which will be available for purchase beginning on October 1st from Paper Tray Inc. Alright, so I've done some other videos. Alright, so we all know that this cute little book box from the Fairy Tale Christmas kit can be turned into a little box for little gifts or treats or gift cards and that sort of thing. But you can also turn it into an adorable little keepsake ornament by actually sealing the book shut and creating this little shaker scene inside of the little book. We are offering also some little fairy lights that you can use to light them up, and these I chose to put my little battery pack for the lights on the outside of the book because the batteries in these are replaceable. So the strings of lights, they last about 24 hours of nice bright light, and then they'll last a few more days after that of kind of a dimmer, softer light. But unlike the little lights that we offered in a kit a few years ago, those batteries were not replaceable, and once they were done, they were done. So, but these are replaceable, and so I chose to put that little battery pack on the outside. If you don't like that, or you don't care if the lights, because this is all sealed shut because I have it filled with snow and this little scene in there. So I wanted to be able to access that battery pack. If you don't like the way that looks or don't care if it's accessible or not, you could hide it inside of there somehow too. But I chose to put mine on the outside so that you can replace those batteries. But there are pre-printed panels that can be cut for the outside of these little ornaments included in the paper pack, or you can stamp your own using the stamps from the stamp set. Here I did kind of a combination of both. I used the pattern papers, but then I also stamped some of the details. There are little dates included in the stamp set so you can personalize the ornaments. Here I used a 2018, it says 2018 edition, which is kind of a cute little book themed way of recording the date. And then there are these little hooks, or rings, I guess, brads with rings on them in the trimmings kit, which you can use to turn it into a little hanging ornament. So I'll show you how to assemble these and how to attach the lights and all of that in today's video. Alright, so I have all of my pieces already die cut. I have one box base. This is a matchbox base. This die is not included in the kit. It was included in a kit a few years ago, the All Through the House kit. So if you purchase that kit, you will have this die. That's why we did not include it in the kit, but we are also offering it separately on its own for purchase apart from the kit in case you don't have it. There is also a printable template included in the download for the kit. If you purchase the kit, you'll get a template for this matchbox base. So there's a few options there as far as how to get the hold of this die or the template for the box base. So I have that already die cut, and I also have one of the book box covers die cut, and you'll see here where I cut the inside of that decorative frame out. So this decorative frame, there are two dies. There's the outer edge and then there's the inner edge, and they're separate so that you have some different options there as far as how you want to use those. So for the ornaments that I'm creating today, I wanted just a cutout, so I went ahead and just cut out the inside of that frame to create a little window. And then as for decorating the inside of your box, my samples I have here, I used die cuts so that I created kind of a really dimensional design inside of there, popping some of those shapes up with foam tape. But in today's video, just to make it a little bit quicker, I am going to use one of the little pre-printed panels, and these are also in the pattern paper pack that's included in the kit, and so though you can just trim those down and they're the right size to fit inside of that box. So it's up to you as far as how detailed you want it to be. If you want a layered look, you'll want to go ahead and add all the die cuts with the foam tape. And I also did some stenciling inside with some of the gold embellishment mousse that is in the trimmings kit. So this one has a lot of dimension in there. It's just up to you. If you want to add lights to your ornament, you're going to want to, before you assemble this little box base, you're going to want to punch a small hole. And I would suggest doing it down in one of the corners of the box. So these are the flaps that get assembled into the sides of the box, and here you can see where I punched just a small hole over in the corner. So then you can go ahead and assemble your box. So my box is all assembled, and now I can move on to assembling it. I'm going to cover the back side of this window with a piece of acetate, and I just cut this to size using my paper trimmer. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive on the back side of my book cover, on the front cover where that window is. And just go ahead and adhere that piece of acetate to cover that window. Now before I attach the box portion to the cover, I'm going to want to mark where this little hole is, the hole that I just punched a little bit ago in my box. I want to make sure that I mark that and also punch that in the lid, or the cover portion. So I'm going to lay my box out and make sure it's where I want it to be. It's nice and centered on the front cover and positioned correctly. And so I marked that with a pencil, and then I'll just punch that through the cover part as well. And the same for the little insert. So I'm going to put my insert in there. And again, I'm going to mark that hole and punch that through the insert as well. So now I have a hole through all of my layers that I can string my lights through. So I can go ahead and attach everything. So my basic box is assembled, and if you were adding die cuts instead of a pre-printed panel, now is when you'd want to do all of that on the inside of your box. But since we have a pre-printed panel, we can just go ahead and move on to adding the lights. So to do this, I'm going to use this hole that we punched, and I'm going to string the lights through that hole. They're pretty tiny, so your hole obviously doesn't need to be very large. And just go ahead and pull those all the way through. And I'm going to leave enough cord on the back side so that I can kind of center my battery pack in the back of the ornament. Now to do this, this is the little bit of a tricky part, is to get these lights kind of wound around through here. And I have found something that worked pretty well was to actually take them and wind them, first of all, around the outer edge of this little box. So they are wired, and they're kind of a bendy wire, and so they do hold shape a little bit. So if I just kind of pull them tight, around this outer box. And then take the end, once you've gone all the way around, take the end and kind of wrap it around the rest, twist it around. Okay, and then go ahead and pop it off, just like that, so it kind of holds its shape. And then go ahead and kind of just force it inside. And since you wrapped it around the outer edge of the box, it's a little bit larger, so once you force that inside, it kind of tries to expand and actually kind of hold itself in place. And it doesn't have to be perfect, as long as it's just kind of laying around the outer edge. The front cover will hide a good bit of that. So if you have a spot around one of the edges that you don't feel is holding very well, you can just take a little bit of Scotch tape too, because you're not going to see that around those edges once your lid is closed up. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. Now we're going to attach the battery pack to the back side. And I'm just going to use a piece of double-sided tape. And you also want to make sure that your screws, you can see the 4 little screws, are facing up so that the recipient can actually get the battery pack open. The reason I like to put it in the center is so that it doesn't hang one way or another, a little bit crooked, because of the weight of that battery pack. So that's why you want to try to put it in the center. So now we're going to go ahead and add the little ring to the top. So just pierce a hole. And again, since your battery pack is on the back side, you have a little more weight on the back side. So I'm going to set that brad a little bit closer to the back than the front. You can see how I pierced my hole, not in the center, not towards the front, but towards the back, to offset that weight a little bit of the battery pack. And just insert the brad and secure it on the inside. Then you can go ahead and add a ribbon or whatever you want to use for a hanger there, tie a ribbon onto there. Now we can fill our box. Let's try our lights. That looks adorable. And now we can add some snow. You can also add, there's some little mushrooms included in the trimmings kit. You could add a couple of those, glue those down into the base here of the box, just for a fun little detail. You could add a sentiment in here, or if you want to add a sentiment to the outside, that works too. But you definitely want to fill it with snow, because that's just fun. It doesn't take a lot. You could also add some sequins or some of the other little fillings from the trimmings kit. And then you're going to want to glue the whole thing shut. So I'm going to put some adhesive along the spine of the book and then all the way around this edge of the box. So it's sealed shut all the way around, so my snow and my sequins and my filler, whatever I have in there, isn't leaking out. And there you have an adorable keepsake ornament. You can go ahead and embellish it further if you want. You could add another layered frame. You could add the little latch detail. You could also add the little metal corners, however you'd like to further embellish it. Well, thanks for watching this how-to on creating these adorable keepsake ornaments using the Fairy Tale Christmas Kit, which will be available for purchase beginning on October 1st from Paper Tray Inc. And this is a limited edition kit, so make sure you get yours while they last. Thanks for watching. This has been Betsy Veldman for Paper Tray Inc.